Alrighty, so it's time to do the review of the matinee games before the 3 o'clock game that is going to be kicking off between Inter Miami versus the Chicago Fire, and I was very happy that this game between the Timbers versus Galaxy actually started on time and actually started in the actual kickoff time that they, of course, said it would, which it does give me a little bit more hope that whatever the league basically said the actual kickoff time is the actual kickoff time when the national television game is going to happen. Although, I will say this, that since this is actually on ABC, and since so far from that debacle that I have on Sunday with the national television game not actually kicking off with the scheduled kickoff that was happening, both of those games actually was on Fox, and the game that actually did start on time from that Sunday debacle from national television was on ESPN. So we shall see tomorrow when both of those games is going to be on the Fox network, whether or not it is the league or Fox are going to lie to us again about the actual kickoff time of those national television games. But that being said, let us actually get to the first game first before we talk about this game between the Timbers versus the Galaxy. And that is Montreal and Cincinnati. And honestly, I was actually rooting for Cincinnati in this game, and after seeing them getting all 3 points and getting their first win of the season, I mean, they definitely put a smile in my face after 90 minutes of this game. And not only the fact that they actually got a win in this game, but they did something that they have never done in MLS history, and it's kind of a curse that they've been having ever since they came into the league, and that is they always tends to lose whenever they concede first. They have never got a draw or a win when they concede first. But this is the first time in FC Cincinnati history where they concede the first goal and they were able to come back to get all 3 points in this game. And it's only fitting, the fact that they were able to do it against Montreal, because for whatever reason, Cincinnati, they have not only a good record against Montreal, but they have never lost to Montreal in their history. Like, as bad as Cincinnati has been when they came into the league, it's kind of surprising that Montreal is the only team I think they have never lost to, besides Austin FC, who, of course, they never play against them in their history. And at least for the majority part of this game, it looked like that streak was going to end with Montreal getting their first win against Cincinnati. In the first half, not much happened in the first 12 minutes of the game, which, you know, we're starting to see a pattern where a lot of these matinee games and a lot of these early games, they tend to not really have much that is going on in the beginning of these games because it is still early in the day. Although I thought early Montreal did try to press Cincinnati at the back, and they had some success catching Cincinnati at the back a couple of times. But Cincinnati had the first real chance as Barrio hits a free kick from 24 yards out. That goes just wide. Vermeer then denied Hurtado from close range in the 24th minute. I thought Vermeer had a great bounce back game in this one. Although I will say that he did have some nervous moment in this game, and I think there was like that one moment where he actually allowed a big rebound, but unfortunately he wasn't, or actually fortunately for him, he wasn't actually punished because of that. But yeah, you know, besides that, it's still a very slow and conservative approach from both of these teams in the first 30 minutes. That, of course, would change in the last 15 minutes when things did kind of picked up a little bit. Montreal did start to press for the opener as the half ends. Then Cincinnati thought that they scored the opening goal in the 43rd minute, but Bernier unfortunately was flagged offside, and correctly so that he was in an offside position there. And then in the 44th minute, Kyoto probably had the miss of the season as he somehow puts it wide from 2 yards out with an empty net to shoot. I mean, to show you how bad this miss was, Kyoto was wide open in the box, in the back post from 2 yards out. All he had to do is basically tap that one in into the empty net, and somehow he puts that one wide. And I think Steve Caldwell basically said on the broadcast that, you know, I have nothing to say about that. And I think his reaction pretty much just sums up everybody's reaction. Like, there's really not much I can say about that other than the fact that 99 out of 100 times, that is in the back of the net. And the fact that that did not end up into the back of the net, and the fact that Kyoto had that horror miss that could have given Montreal 1-0 lead in this game, this miss would later come back to haunt Montreal as we head to the halftime with a 0-0 score between Montreal and FC Cincinnati. Now, in the second half, 51st minute, Joe Gale did try to chip the goalkeeper from 35 yards out, but he completely got that one wrong. I don't think that one actually even go out for a goal kick. Well, actually, it did go out for a goal kick, but it was just way wide, and it's gonna take something special for Joe Gale in terms of trying to chip the goalkeeper from about 35 yards out. And I didn't think Diop was kind of off his lines that much, so he was kind of surprised that Joe Gale tried to do that. Then Vermeer did deny Wanyama, but then Cameron and Kyoto, who I think this was the moment when Vermeer allowed a big rebound, and I think it was Kyoto the one that was trying to capitalize on it. But Vermeer did smother that one, and then Cameron and Kyoto decided to kind of have some choice words with each other, because I think Kyoto did kind of caught Vermeer there. Obviously, Jeff Cameron was not happy about that. He was definitely letting Kyoto know, and as I said, they definitely have some choice words as they were head-to-head with each other. But then 3 minutes later, Montreal finally got that deserved lead that they were looking for, as Mihajlovic scores from Kyoto to make it 1-0 in favor of Montreal. So Kyoto, in some way, he kind of make amends of his bad miss that he had in the first half, and in some way this is kind of like a 100 IQ play that he does, which is that, if you can't score tap-ins like he did in the first half, why not? I'll just create a tap-in for my teammate to score. And fortunately for Mihajlovic, he basically just showed Kyoto that, yeah, this is how you basically tap the ball into the back of net from two yards out. And as I mentioned, Montreal is 1-0 up at that point. And I also kind of wrote, yeah, this game is over for FC Cincinnati, because as I mentioned, they have come into this game with 35 straight loss when they concede the first goal. And I think even Cincinnati fans knew that as soon as they see their team concede their first goal, it's an automatic loss for them, and the heads of these players is going to drop. And it looked like for the next couple of minutes, Montreal was making sure that this was going to be all over for Cincinnati. And Wanyama actually missed high on a header just a couple of minutes later from close range, before Mihajlovic thought that he scored his second goal of the game, but the goal, of course, was disallowed for offside. There was also another goal that was disallowed for offside a couple of minutes ago. I think it was Hurtado, the one that had hit his chances, or had his goal that was flagged up because of offside. But as much as Montreal was looking to try to kill this game off, they weren't able to do so. And the old saying, when you don't kill the game off and you let your opposition get into the game, it's going to come back to haunt you. And boy, it did for Montreal, because in the 69th minute, Jurgen Locadia scored from Jeff Cameron to tied the game up at 1 apiece. And as soon as I saw that, I knew this game is going to get crazy, and I had a feeling Cincinnati is going to win this, because anytime if you let Locadia score a goal, I mean, this is no disrespect to Jurgen Locadia, but anytime if you're in opposition and you concede a goal to Locadia, you should automatically just give up 3 points, because you don't give up goals to a guy that has probably the worst luck of any player right now in the league. And I've already mentioned before how Jurgen Locadia is probably the most snake-bit player in this league right now. But the fact that he, of course, scored a goal, which makes me wonder, yeah, I have a feeling Cincinnati is probably going to come back from this. They did have a chance in the 73rd minute to make it 2-1 when Alan Cruz missed high, but you can clearly see the momentum was definitely with Cincinnati. Diop then had to deny Cruz from close range, and Montreal was just completely unraveled as soon as they gave up that equalizer. Now, thankfully, they did have the hydration break in the 75th minute, which I think for Montreal, that was a much-needed hydration break, because Cincinnati was really coming down their throat, and they did start to kind of control the game a little bit, as Kyoto did had another chance in the 82nd minute, and he missed that one high, and he actually went through on goal, but he missed the target there. Even if he put it in, it wouldn't have counted, because the flag, of course, went up. And then just as you thought maybe with Montreal started to get the control of this game back in their favor, Cincinnati got that second goal, and it's the rookie Valencia, I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, Valencia. He scores from Matarrita to give Cincinnati a 2-1 lead. Breon Johnson did had a chance in the 90th minute, but unfortunately hit the post. And actually, if he actually would have hit this one on goal, this wouldn't have counted either way, because apparently I think there was a foul on Montreal there, and I think Luke Wellman basically said that there was supposed to be a handball in the box, and when I look on the replay of that, I didn't see a handball in the box. So I mean, I guess somebody must have handballed it, or I must have not seen it. But either way, handball or not, that one wouldn't have counted either way, because Johnson unfortunately hit the post there. And despite the fact that Montreal did try to rally late in this game, Cincinnati hold on to win 2-1 in this one. And the shots in this one, 13 shots compared to 12 that Montreal has. Both teams had 4 shots on goal, 4 shots off target compared to 3 that Montreal has. Both teams had 5 shots that was blocked. And possession-wise, 56% possession compared to 44% possession that Cincinnati has in this game. And as much as you want to say that this is a game that clearly Montreal should have won, and that maybe Cincinnati got a little bit lucky that Montreal did not have their shooting boots in this game, when you look at the stats, it's pretty similar. Both teams kind of had similar chances in this game, but in the end, Cincinnati was just a more clinical side, and honestly, they absolutely deserved this victory. And really, I feel like Cincinnati fans definitely need this more than what Montreal needed, because I know both of these teams kind of came off of a heartbreaking loss, but after last week of how Cincinnati worked so hard to come back from a 2-0 deficit and basically tied the game up at 2 apiece, and only gave up a goal just a couple of minutes later, despite the fact that they really showed some heart in that game. You just feel like they are desperate in terms of trying to redeem themselves and get themselves a win, and that is exactly what they got in this game. So let's see if this game could maybe get them going in these next couple of games that they're of course going to play. But for Montreal, again, I know I said that, in some ways they should have won this game, but also I feel like in some way they definitely should have won this one. And again, for Kyoto, even though he did get the assist in this game, he's gonna have nightmares about that goal that he missed in the 44th minute. And if he would have put that one away, on top of the fact that Montreal would have got the 2-0 lead when Mihajlovic puts it in the 55th minute, the game would have been all done, and I don't think Cincinnati would have come back in this one. But now moving on, in terms of the next one, which is the Timbers versus the Galaxy. And in the end, the Timbers with a comfortable 3-0 win against the Galaxy, although this game all changed right near the end of the halftime, where we saw one of the most nastiest challenge we have seen so far this season, and maybe I have ever seen in MLS history. But in the first half, Asprilla did hit one just wide for about 12 yards out before Valeri did score in the 9th minute, but unfortunately the goal was disallowed for offside, and he was in an offside position. But I thought it was a bright start for the Timbers in this game. There was a shout for a handball in the 13th minute in the box for the Timbers, but it wasn't given. 7 minutes later, it's the Galaxy turn that wants a penalty in the box, as they thought one of the Timbers player handballed it in the box, but that of course was not given. 4 minutes later, Asprilla did try to go with a bicycle kick, but unfortunately missed wide. It seems like we have seen more and more bicycle kick attempt ever since Rubio Rubin basically scored that incredible bicycle kick a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it feels like players have saw that go and said, you know what, I want to replicate that in game, and I want to also score a goal like that. And so far, I think ever since Rubin did score that amazing bicycle kick goal, I don't think we have seen anybody been able to score that, and it just shows you that how difficult it is to score a bicycle kick, where you not only need to get the technique right, but it is just so hard, even when you get the technique right, to put that one on target. But that's not a bad try from Darren Asprilla, who tried to go with a bicycle kick. And Asprilla, a guy that I've mentioned before, where he's not allowed to score a goal unless this is November. Well, it seems like for the past couple of games, I actually have been very impressed of how Asprilla has been playing. And yes, he's kind of did break that rule of not allowed to score a goal until it's November by scoring one a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, it feels like that rule is still kind of in play, where maybe that was kind of the exception, but now it's back to where he's not allowed to score a goal unless this is playoff time for the Portland Timbers. Then Jonathan Bond robbed Ibobasi as he went for on goal. I mean, Jonathan Bond, he was absolutely amazing in this game, and he's another player that I mentioned before. He's been a really big surprise in this season, and not a lot of people thought that he would be just an incredible goalkeeper for the Galaxy. And I also thought that he did try to keep this Galaxy team as long as possible, but unfortunately this was another game where he basically just got hung out to dry by that bad Galaxy back line. But he had another incredible save just 2 minutes later, denying Valeri, who was all alone in the box. I mean, 9 out of 10 times Valeri is going to put that one into the back of the net, but Bond with an incredible save to deny him there. And then 10 minutes later, this is when the game basically changed. Williams with an absolute nasty challenge on Andy Polo. And actually, nasty, I think, is an understatement. I mean, that was just an absolute crunching challenge that Derek Williams basically put on Polo. And unsurprisingly, Polo, of course, got injured there. It seems like his ankle might have been broke because of that challenge. And rightfully so, Derek Williams got a red card in that. And I think that is probably not just a red card in that instant, but maybe a red card and a half. And that I expect maybe the disciplinary committee is probably going to hand out Williams more than just the 1-game suspension that he's going to receive. Because when you look back on that on the replay, yeah, that was just a very ugly challenge. And that challenge kind of really reminds me of that CCL game between the Union and Saprissa, where I think it was Kai Wagner, the one that was victimized of just a crunching challenge by one of the Saprissa player. Now, the difference between that and this incident, and in some way, I'm kind of glad that in this incident, this is of course wasn't the case. Unlike what we saw in that CCL game, was once Wagner did get completely took out by one of the Saprissa player, both teams decided to really get into each other's faces. But in this, there wasn't kind of any of that, and in some way I'm kind of glad that there wasn't any of that. And then I'm also kind of glad that Williams, he didn't even complain. He knew what he did, and he knew he basically screwed up there, and rightfully so take the red card. And sometimes I feel like that is definitely better compared to what we saw in that incident with Wagner getting completely took out by a Saprissa player. I mean, as much as we do love the shithousery that happened in a game, sometimes it doesn't need to be necessary. And I think this was good on the part of the Portland Timbers. Decide not to just completely get into the face of the Galaxy players. And that nasty challenge, when I saw that could have easily triggered a lot of bad tempers between both of these teams. And keep in mind, both of these teams, they do not like each other whatsoever. So we head to halftime with the score being 0-0, but the Galaxy have to play down to 10 men for the last 45 minutes, and the Timbers didn't waste any time to capitalize on that advantage. As 2 minutes into the second half, it's Felipe Mora that scored from Van Rankin and Valeri to give the Timbers a 1-0 lead. Bond did deny Williamson in the 55th minute, and not only the fact that I feel like there was just too many wasteful chances for the Timbers, and I was worried the Timbers is going to fall in the same trap that Montreal did earlier in this game. But Jonathan Bond, again, just keeping this Galaxy team as long as possible. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to keep out this shot from Felipe Mora in the 60th minute as he scored his second goal, and it was actually Van Rankin the one originally hit the post on the chip, and when that ball bounced off the post, it ricocheted right back into the path of Felipe Mora. And you kind of also have to question how in the world did nobody was able to well, actually the Galaxy did try to pick that one up on the follow-up, but if you're the Galaxy and you're the defender for that team, you have to get to the ball first when that ball bounced off the post. You cannot let your attacker basically get to it first and hits it into the back of net. But at the same time, you got to give credit Felipe Mora, the first one able to get to that rebound after the ball hits the post, and the Timbers were up 2-0 in that game. Now, 2 minutes later, Ketter did had to deny Steres from 6 yards out. Ketter did had a relatively quiet game, but that's because the Timbers, they were pretty much on top of this game for majority of the ways. Then there was a penalty kick given to the Timbers after Steres might have brought down Van Rankin. And the reason why I wrote might have brought down is because I feel like this was kind of a soft penalty, with the way that it feels like Van Rankin was already going down the ground, and he kind of stick his leg out to Steres as he was stumbling toward the ground. And when you do that, I think that's probably not going to be a penalty. And I think Taylor Twellman basically even pointed out in the broadcast that he was already going down on ground. I mean, when that happens, that's usually not a penalty, but you know, they decide to give the penalty either way, which Valeri, of course, was able to put this one away. And I think with Valeri basically take this penalty, it is pretty much confirmed that the Timbers have this rule where you're just not allowed to score a hat-trick in league play. Like, I know Felipe Mora was pretty much asking Valeri if he can take the penalty and becoming the first Portland Timbers player to score a hat-trick in an MLS play, but I know Diego Valeri, probably as the captain of this team, he knows the rules of the Portland Timbers, where in every single game, one of the unwritten rule that the Timbers has, or in this case, one of the written rule that the Timbers had, is that you're not allowed to score a hat-trick when you, of course, are playing for the Portland Timbers in league play. So, yeah, Valeri basically took that penalty away from Mora, and he basically stick this one in. Or you could maybe interpret that as Valeri trying to redeem himself after that debacle that he had against the Sounders, where he missed two penalties on two tried there, and this one was just him to kind of make amends of that horror moment that he had in that Cascadia derby. But yeah, that would be 3-0 in favor of the Timbers, and really for the last 25 minutes of the game, it was kind of garbage time for both of these teams. And you know, the Galaxy, I would credit that they didn't give up and had a couple of half chances for the last 25 minutes, but that was mainly because the Timbers were just taking their foot off the gas and just pretty much cruised their way to a 3-0 victory, which that is exactly what they got. And the shots in this one, 20 shots compared to 14 that the Galaxy had, 9 shots on goal compared to 3 that the Galaxy had, 9 shots off target compared to 6 that the Galaxy had, 2 shots that was blocked compared to 5 that the Galaxy had, and possession-wise, 47% possession compared to 53% possession that the Galaxy had in this game. And with this win, the Timbers is now above the red line, albeit temporarily, because there are still all those teams that is currently above, or maybe some that drop below the red line still have to play later tonight. But it's got to be good, the fact that you know, with all the injuries that they've been dealing with this season, they have find themselves staying afloat right now and able to get themselves a huge 3 points against the Galaxy, who, you know, coming into this game, they were definitely red hot, and Chicharito was definitely coming into this game red hot. But I don't think there was even one time that John Champion or Taylor Twellman even mentioned his name. I mean, it was a really quiet game for Chicharito, and I feel like this is pretty much the key for any team face the Galaxy from now on, where as long as you can shut down Chicharito, you know you have a chance to, of course, score, or you have a chance to basically win the game. Now, obviously, that's easier set to be done, because I'm pretty sure this is just Chicharito kind of had his one-off game, but he might return to his best form in the very next one. But again, this is just a clear example that as long as you shut down Chicharito, you know that the Galaxy is not going to threaten you on the attack, because there's really nobody on this Galaxy attack that can really be lethal in front of goal as what Chicharito is this season. But yeah, there you have it. That is pretty much it for the review of both of these games. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of both of these games? And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.